Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nancy Hua.
Are we starting? Hi, guys. Sorry. This is Nancy with Aptimize. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Aptimize. What we're all about is working with companies like the Wall Street Journal, Capital One. Oh, great. Now I see the slides. Sorry, they weren't showing up here. Capital One and Hotel Tonight and Strava. So anyone with a mobile app, we help them make this app amazing. And we help our customers feel like geniuses. OK, so how do you get to the cutting edge of mobile user experience? The holy grail for mobile is having a perfectly tailored user experience for every person and situation. And on mobile, there's a really high bar for this because mobile users have really good data. They're always logged in. There's a lot of features for you to do analysis on and build your models. And the hardest part of any kind of analysis or model generation is feature generation. And on mobile, that's the best opportunity to do this. So how do you build a unique and intelligent experience en masse? So if you think about the companies who are closest to this holy grail vision, the thing that they have in common is they have an obsession with a data-driven iteration process. That's the first factor for companies to be successful. Right here, you're seeing what most companies operate under, which is first they launch a new version of their product, and then they analyze the results, and then they go back through the cycle. This is actually too slow and not possible to build a sustainable, especially machine learning-based generation process on, because you need something that allows you to continuously innovate. This is the foundation of being able to have a really sustainable product development process that lets you build a great product over time. This is the secret sauce for how companies like Google operate. That's why they're OK with open sourcing a lot of their algorithms, such as TensorFlow. They don't really care about that. The secret sauce for them is in their data and in their testing and iteration culture. So all the companies that we know that are at the forefront of machine learning are operating in this manner. And there's no other way to test all the algorithms you're generating or to generate the algorithms in the first place. This is how you do all your feature identification. So the companies that have a repeatably great user experience and product development cycle operate in this way. And this is how Aptimize fits in. Aptimize enables you to do A/B testing, continuous iteration on mobile, and lets you target your experiences and measure the impact of everything you're doing. This is the top priority if you're going to build products that are based on the data that your customers are telling you. OK, so after you have the cycle and not before, then you can ultimately bring in machine learning as a tool in your toolbox to enhance your user experience. You have to use this in a way that's appropriate to the context so that you can understand where it will best benefit your user experience. It's not just something that you throw in there. It's not a catch-all. It's a thing where you would understand in a case where it's optimal to have a bot versus a human because it's easier to scale that process versus in a lot of cases, it's actually a better user experience for people to interact with another human or a UX that has a button that they push. So you have to understand the context of what you're doing and if it's appropriate for the model. These are two areas where we see machine learning come into relevancy for our customers. On the personalization side, they'll use us to do search rank and intelligent pricing. And on the other end of the spectrum, they use machine learning to do scalable identification. So many things that would enable them to scale all the ways that they would understand the content that a lot of their users are generating. If they're generating words or images or just their behaviors in general so they can detect what's anomalous, our customers can use this to do machine learning to make sure that their products are a lot better. There's a lot of use cases here. And the key thing that I would highlight here is that iteration and data and machine learning are not just one-off projects that you would use to do every once in a while to make your product better. They're actually foundational areas that become very core to your whole product development cycle. What we found with our customers is that the companies that are the most engaged and are testing the most actually grow at 2x the rate as everyone else. So it has a really big impact on how you're operating and the impact on your business. So today we're here talking with one of our customers, Flipagram, that is one of the leading innovators in mobile experience. They have a lot of stuff they're doing on the machine learning side, and they use Aptimize as core to that testing and iteration process. If you're interested in learning more, we have a conference, Mobilize 2017, in November, where you can talk with a lot of the thought leaders in the space, including a lot of our customers, which include top apps in every category in the App Store. And there you will learn about how technology can affect your business and how your mobile team can get ahead. Okay, so now I will open up the stage for Hans.
Thank you, Nancy. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about how AI is going to get us to the next million, in fact, actually billion influencers, and what's going to happen to the world when that happens. So first off, what's Flipagram? We're actually started as a small app that helped you make videos with your photos and videos on your phone, and we licensed basically all the music from all the labels so that you can do this. And we went exponential in 2013, attracted some investment, and adding millions of users a day. We've actually now reached about a little over 200 million users that have used Flipagram. So one of the goals, of course, of all of our apps is for retention and growth. And in our case, it's one of the maybe tried and not so true come for the tool, stay for the network approaches. But what we have is a lot of people using Flipagram that make Flipograms, they share it to their social networks, and from those social networks, we get a lot of users, so that's already working well. In order to change behavior, though, and get our users to start to stay on our network, we need to have a way to show them videos that they love. And to do this, you need a recommendation system. So before I talk to you about that, we were acquired by ByteDance earlier this year. ByteDance is a Chinese company, said to be one of the three new Chinese technology wave companies, technology giants. And they actually built their success on AI and machine learning. They recommend content, sometimes even write the content with AI and show it to their users. So that's exactly what we need to use to basically retain our audience. So a little bit about the way this works. In our case, our creators are consumers, and our consumers are creators. And typically, you have someplace like YouTube or Twitter where you have 1% creators, and everyone else is a lurker or consumer. In our case, over half of our users are creators. And so what you have to do is not only show them content they want to watch, but inspire them to create something that others are going to want to see. And so an example of this is, I don't know how many of you guys remember the water bottle challenge. I think if you weren't in high school, maybe this wasn't so clear. But with the water bottle challenge, the goal was to flip your water bottle and have it land on the bottom face standing up, or the top. And here's an example of what happened on Flipagram when this started to become a thing.
Make me your radio and turn me up when you feel low. This melody was meant for you, so sing along to my stereo.
All right, so half of our users are in the Gen Z space, and these guys really respond fast to internet memes. I think it's all they've known. So pretty quickly, right after that was a trend, this became a trend.
No way!
So that's an example of what happens when you show one of our creators a video that they like. They go off and make one themselves. And so the goal with us is to encourage our creators, well, first discover them, but then encourage them to develop. And the way this happens is, like anything, if you practice deliberately, you become better at the thing you're doing. And so what we have is an opportunity here to use AI as sort of a Mr. Miyagi for creators and show them along the way how to become a better creator. In fact, one of the things that you have to do is make sure you give them the right attention at the right time, not too much, not too little. If you do too much, they actually become discouraged because the bar is set too high and their next post doesn't work. Or if you give them too little, they get disinterested and they leave the platform. So you sort of have to encourage them at the right amount at each time, but everyone's different. So you can't just tweak and set a certain amount and hope that everybody reacts the same way. People actually are quite different, especially we're a worldwide app, so in different countries it's dramatically different. The other thing you have to do is give them an incentive that goes beyond just social. So as you develop as an influencer, you get to the point where you expect to be paid or compensated in some fashion. And this is pretty common across the industry. Right now, there's a bunch of agencies that sign influencers. They work with them, and then they find opportunities, and they'll try to make those matches. But these matches aren't quite perfect. What will happen is a influencer agency will have some set of influencers and some set of brands, and they'll try to force a match. This is how Hollywood used to work. This is the old world of agents and studios. When you have a billion influencers, when you have people all over the world able to create something that people want to watch, it changes things. In fact, I think we're talking about a 1,000x increase approximately of the number of people that can participate and be influencers. Now, they'll probably be micro-influencers, but now you might have the opportunity to have 1,000 Game of Thrones shows because you've had so many more people come through this process and learn how to create and really love the medium. You'll see the studio and agency model begin to be disintermediated. These people that right now take a pretty large cut from the creators, including perhaps YouTube, strangely, will start to see themselves perhaps not quite in as much a position of power because there's so many more people doing this. So I think the other thing is with marketing. So a couple things happened recently. One is the adpocalypse with YouTube. And so what happened there, if you're not familiar with this, is a lot of advertisers started to get unhappy about their videos showing up in front of hate speech videos or things that really weren't good to associate with a brand. And this is something that if you have a lot of folks making videos, if you have a lot of places to put those videos, and you have an AI understanding of both the creator and the audience around those videos, it shouldn't be too difficult, I'm actually not quite sure why YouTube hasn't done, or maybe they are working on this, to actually figure out what the brand wants and doesn't want and treat them like a consumer, and just don't put ads in front of stuff the brand isn't going to like. The other thing you end up with AI models on influencers is that you will know whether an influencer is good for a brand or not, based off of the audience that they reach, based off of the types of videos they create, based off of the content inside those videos, which, again, you can use machine learning and AI to figure out and classify. And so you end up spreading the risk over many more people rather than just one. Another example of risk being all on one person, Kendall Jenner and Pepsi, they created this campaign where she's like handing a police officer a Pepsi, and it was not the right timing, it wasn't perceived correctly by the internet, and it really blew up badly, and they had to yank it. And so I'm sure this was a pretty expensive campaign, all bet on this one piece of video and this one person. So in a world of a billion influencers, I think you've got the opportunity to spread out that risk, and you no longer have everything banked on an individual. So this is the stuff that we're doing. We're building this into our app so that you can come as a user and be, perhaps even unknowing to you, carried along this path where you become better and better at creating videos, you become more and more effective at connecting or using sponsors and brands, and you'll be part of this new world of creators that can actually do this as a business or as a serious hobby. And that's the Kendall Jenner video. But that's it. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'm looking forward to a world with a billion creators. Thanks.